Today I'm going to show you why shifting at the right point is important in sim racing in general. This applies to all cars, anything with an engine, or in this case is iRacing. I'm using the Dallara Formula 3 car because it has very clear lights and has a very clear rev limiter. Not all cars have that. Some cars have a very ambiguous rev limiter where the revs rise like and they just stay at a certain level. Then you kind of got to refer to the car's manual, which iRacing does have manuals for each of its cars. Other places, or if you just look at the fast guys, the best thing you can do is watch a fast lap, see where they shift, emulate it. Very simple. Sometimes it could be 2 lights before, sometimes it could be, let's say, 7,000 RPM, 7,200 if there's numbers on the screen but you don't have lights. Bear that in mind. But in the F3 car, it's a simple way to show off this example. So I'm going to show you a sector of undershifting, short shifting first. So here we have short shifting, where we get a few lights but we shift early, so you can see the difference that we're talking about. And this sector will end at about 220 or 230. Here's the line up here. Here we go, a 15-second .461. So we're going to go back and we're going to try overshifting. I did this when I first started out in iRacing, so I wanted to hit the rev limiter because it sounded pretty fast, so you'll know what I mean. Maybe even let it bang a few times, you know, because it's fast as fuck, isn't it? Oh, I did a good shift there, sorry, that's my instinct kicking in, but we're a bit faster than short shifting. And I even done one correct shift there, or at least it felt correct. So let's go back and discuss the differences. So in this car in particular, the goal, in all cars, sorry, is to shift before you hit the rev limiter. You want the power to continue into each gear. You don't want anything to slow down your car, because if you hit the rev limiter you lose your acceleration. It's halted. You can even see that in my speed. When you hit the rev limiter, that's it. So rev limiter is not good. You want smooth shifts before the rev limiter. Not good at all. So as we can see, we've lost a second here, but that was very poor shifting. So we're going to shift just before the rev limiter. The way we do that is in the lower gears, we're actually going to shift a light or two. I'll show you now. So we're going to shift right about there, where those lights are when they climb. So 2 lights before the end, because if we wait for the last light, we end up getting the rev limiter. When you get into the taller gears, we'll say, you can wait until the last light because they come up much slower. So let's do a test by doing it that way, and you can see in full speed without me going slowly. So as you can see, we're gaining a little bit of time. It's only a little bit, but we're not hitting off the rev limiter. We've gained a 1/10 in this very short section. Now, obviously a 1/10 is a lot. If you are shifting the way I did first in the first example, but really letting the car hit the rev limiter, no one really drives like that. So in reality, driving and hitting your shifts, there's only a tiny bit involved in it. It's not more so where to shift. You just want to make sure you're not interrupting the engine and the power delivery of the engine to the wheels. You don't want to interrupt that delivery. You want to get all the gears sorted so it steps down or steps up for the right speed all the time. There is another little flip side to this, which kind of almost nulls this video, but not really. So make sure you're shifting at the right point. That's the first point. You know, shift before. Don't be afraid to short shift, but you never want to bang the rev limiter. When you bang the rev limiter, you've lost time. The reason some people might be thinking about where's the perfect shift is because when you're on a straight, there's not a lot to do apart from maximize your shift. Don't look into it too much. Just shift before the rev limiter or the optimal RPM for your specific car and focus on the next corner. You're only going to gain 1 or 2 hundredths. In iRacing, that's 0.01 of a second by shifting at the right time. If you're already shifting at a good time, leave it there. You're best off focusing on the next corner and just taking that in the correct way, rather than focusing too much on your shifts and maybe even biting the bullet and hitting the rev limiter like I did there. Just shift early. Watch a few onboards of Max Verstappen driving in the F3 car. You'll see he shifts early sometimes, just like I did there. The car is still going fast. You still have maximum power. You're still going quick. The main point you want to take from this video is do not hit the rev limiter. In some cars it can be easy to do, just to bang it once or twice, but you have to realize you're halting your energy, you're halting the car's speed for at least a quarter of a second, half a second. If you're doing this, get rid of that bad habit, because it does sound like an indicator when to shift. Oh, wait until the gear's done. It's done. Don't do that. Don't do that at all, and you will be having a great time in iRacing, and you'll better understand, you'll be in a better place to understand where short shifting comes from. So as you've noticed, when we were starting off, we were doing these quick shifts. So let's say you're coming out of a corner, you don't want to risk banging the rev limiter ever. So in the small gears you can shift it early, but then when you get into the longer gears you can hang it out to the last light, because they come slow enough that they won't catch you by surprise. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and whack on the bell for the notifications, and hopefully I see you guys on my next video. Happy hunting. Thanks for watching.